Cyberhype-5, The Age of Asymmetry, by the CCRU, from Mute Volume 1, Number 22, published December 10, 2001. Although it is on everyone's lips, asymmetric warfare has yet to be understood. One description of the phenomenon that may be worth revisiting is the U.S. military's own. Quote, "The landscape of contemporary war is that of a hurricane projecting and dispersing, dissipating and disintegrating through fusion and fission as it goes along." End quote from P. Virilio. The geostrategic weather map is looking increasingly volatile. Pockets of turbulence realign to form planetary frontal systems, and localized pressure threatens exponential escalations of violence. But why do the turbular contours of meteorological cartography fit the state we're in? Old map concepts seem either too rigid or give no illustration of the current dynamics of mutation. If Paul Virilio is correct in describing state history as the ordered creation of chaos through the realization of a theory of war as the geometric basis of all reality, then it is a fitting time to explore the concept of asymmetry in conflict, in causation, and in planetary composition. Since the Gulf War, the U.S. has been gradually waking up to the drawbacks of its military dominance. In the mid-1990s, the U.S. National Defense Panel stated that enemies were unlikely to confront us conventionally with mass armor formations, air superiority forces, and deep-water naval fleets of their own, all areas of overwhelming U.S. strength today. Instead, they would look for ways to match their strength against our weaknesses. But in 2000, the U.S. war machine, in an effort of projective geostrategic weather dreamcasting called Joint Vision 2020, revealed its long-term objectives as full-spectrum dominance. This, by implication, set up the only feasible military opponent to Empire's orbital cartel and its monopoly of violence as a decentralized insurgency network, targeting weak spots and pressure points in order to threaten this spectral ubiquity. For any such unspecified enemy, an asymmetric approach requires an appreciation of the opponent's vulnerabilities and employs innovative, non-traditional tactics, weapons, or technologies applied at all levels of warfare, strategic, operational, or tactical. It is difficult to move strong things by pushing directly, so you should injure the corners. As a tract of military futurology, Joint Vision 2020 recognizes the potential of such asymmetric approaches is perhaps the most serious danger the United States faces in the immediate future. The asymmetric methods and objectives of an adversary are often far more important than the relative technological imbalance, and the psychological impact of an attack might far outweigh the actual physical damage inflicted. It turns out that the U.S. never quite woke up, and its dreams of security have now been smeared into a living cinescopic nightmare. What makes an asymmetric conflict in the early 21st century timely is, firstly, its embeddedness in a cybernetic environment which, through wild positive feedback spirals in the vortical ecology of fear, amplifies the classical guerrilla potential, the war of the flea, of the asymmetry of causation. Small causes can have massive effects. And secondly, the asymmetry of composition. One empire, a multitude of opponents, of a world system in downswing phase transition. As we leave behind the predictable shores of geostrategic equilibrium, in the phase solidity of the Cold War, with the uncertainties of its stabilizing bipolarization, September 11th functions as a rotational pivot around which we may all begin to spin. As the storm clouds gather over this interzone of liquid instability, only one thing is certain: a new order of disorders emerging. Asymmetry of amplitude, asymmetry of rhythm, total change of rhythm.